Welcome back, 8:20. Joining us now via FaceTime, we have Claudette Reichel. She joins us from the LSU Ag Center. Good morning, Claudette. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Wonderful. Okay, so today we're talking about something that an issue that people will have as they go through their cleanup recovery efforts from Hurricane Laura, and that is mold.
Absolutely. I mean, even though we didn't have as much flooding as people expected, because many people had leaks, had roof damage and had water get inside and then no power for an extended period of time, they're going to face a mold cleanup situation.
So, just if you could kind of touch on how bad for you really is mold, and what is the difference between, let's say, regular mold and black mold?
Black mold is really a misnomer. That's really kind of a meaningless term because many species are black. That term was coined, years ago, really for a special type called Stachybotrys, which tends to grow only on cellulose that's been totally saturated for at least a week. So it's possible that could be there. That type can produce some fairly potent toxins, but actually the more common types of indoor mold can produce toxins too. However, mold is not necessarily a death sentence. Mold, some people are much more sensitive than others. The most common reaction is an allergic type reaction or problems for people who have asthma, but it can also make folks more susceptible to illness, reduce immunity. But then heavy exposure or long time exposure really is considered unhealthy for anyone. So you do need to tend to it. Plus, it's bad for the structure itself.
Right. Well, listen, we have about 30 seconds left here. So what, if any, is your biggest tip when cleaning up mold?
Well, actually, the biggest tip is that to not just douse it with bleach or something like that,
right,
because it's much, much more effective to remove the mold rather than just try to kill it, because the dead mold spores and the residue has, the same health effects as live mold, except it just won't reproduce.
Right.
So removing moldy materials, but first of all, wearing protective gear. If you can get N95 or better respirator, I know it's hard to get because of the pandemic, that really is best. Goggles, gloves, and so forth. Try and ventilate and isolate the area to the outdoors. Remove the porous materials that are moldy, the carpeting and the so forth, and padding, and get rid of it. And then clean the materials that are cleanable with just a regular detergent solution to remove the mold.
Good deal.
Disinfection is needed if there's bacteria. If there's sewage contamination or flooding, then you do need to disinfect. Otherwise, it's optional. After that, speed dry. The faster you can dry with dry air, like get dehumidifiers, the more effective it will be. And then remain on mold alert. The LSU Ag Center online has a fact sheet that we have done, a 2-page fact sheet that provides 10 steps to do it yourself, safe and effective mold removal. It's called Mold Removal Guidelines for Your Flooded Home. And even if you didn't flood, it's the same guidelines apply. So I'd encourage people to find that online.
Well, we will also put that on our website for people as well.
Right.
Claudette, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Oh, you're quite welcome. And thank you for doing this, because a lot of folks really need this information.
You are very right about that. Well, listen, guys, stay with us.